Your intuition ain't shit if it doesn't tell you or show you the writing on the proverbial wall. Thing is, it always does. We just ignore it. We trust everybody and their mama more than we trust ourselves and that inner voice. We literally have more faith in all of these man-made social constructs and ideas and things that are sold to us that are completely false. But then we don't trust in ourselves. We don't have faith in ourselves. We don't have faith in our ability to be dauntless, to be unfuckwittable, to be unfadeable, to be people of power. Trust the timing. Everything happens when it needs to happen. Ask bigger questions. Ask bigger questions of yourself, of your capabilities, of what you're capable of your reach, of your possibilities, of your horizon. All this education, all this information. We are living in the information age. We have more information, more education at our fingertips. We have computers in our pockets, handheld, with information and history and science and math and ways to get paid and ways to heal you name it. Knowledge accessible to us via YouTube, Coursera, Google, the library. And yet, so many of us, we can't heal ourselves. We can't hit our goals. You can go to YouTube and get a tutorial about just about everything. There is a basic level, ground level, beginner's level of just about everything accessible via the internet and various apps and various sources. I believe that there are no limits. Zero limits. No limits to what we are capable of. As human beings, I don't care who you are. I don't care what family you came from. I don't care what type of inconsistencies and disabilities they may have said you have, or every one of us. No limitations on what it is we can do. Absolutely nothing holding you back or stopping you. You never know what someone else is capable of. You don't know what people are capable of. It's no accident. It's not an accident. It's not a coincidence that a small, select group of people live really meaningful lives, and so many others struggling just to make ends meet, struggling just, it's either this month you pay the rent and you don't get medication, or you get medication and your kids don't go, and they have to juggle like this and rob Peter to pay Paul. All types of issues, right? What would happen if next week you attracted 1,000 new clients to your business, or 1,000 people supported you and poured into you? 1,000 clients. How would your mind shift? What would happen if next week the doctor says you are fully healed? The tumors just miraculously disappeared. Fibroids dissolved. That there must have been a mistake on your diagnosis. After all this time, how would your mind shift? And I'm saying that space where your mind just went just a second ago, the idea of millions of dollars pouring into your bank account, of spontaneous remission and healing in the body, that power right there, I want you to grasp hold of that power. That power is the same power that made the body. The power that made the body is the power that cures the body. And I'm saying there is an abundance of ways to cure every single ailment you can conceive of. I do not care what you've been told. And there are a lot more than 1,000 clients or 1,000 supporters or 1,000 fans waiting to love on you, waiting to support what you got going on. There are tens of thousands, millions waiting for someone like you. There is an infinite supply. We don't live in a world with 12 people. We live in a world with billions of people. Millions with money to spend, with access to cyberspace just like you, with access to you and you to them. And we're all in transition. All of us on different levels, we're all in progress. Just like, every 7 years, your cells are replicating and reproducing and dying and creating new ones. And every 7 years, you're scientifically, biologically a different person on a cellular level. It's an ongoing thing. You've never arrived. You will never arrive. Because you're always vibrating and moving and changing. And we are always under construction for maintenance. The mind never stops. Your heart never stops. When you go to sleep, your subconscious mind is still pumping and moving and working. Your immune system is still pumping and moving and working. Your brain is still moving and pumping and working. And the problem is that we're doing this all while we're trying to make a living. We're trying to keep food on the table. We're trying to keep a roof over our heads. We're trying to better ourselves. Some of us, we're trying to, the plight of our children, right? But have you ever wondered why 1% of our population, just one, earns 96% of all the money being earned? The real difficulty is how to overcome how you think of yourself. How to overcome how you think of yourself. Because unless you're perfect, unless you've achieved your perfect, physical, your body, your mindset, everything is clicking on all cylinders and in alignment, and you're a multi-millionaire and you're living in abundance and you're healthy and you're wealthy. Like, if you're not there, you are under construction and under maintenance. And you are one thought away from a different way of being and living and existing. One thought away from thriving more or regressing. Rene Descartes reminds us to conquer yourself rather than the world. Everybody wants to change the world. No one wants to look at themselves and make progress within self every day. Worry about you. Check for you. Because obstacles are only going to look large or small to you according to whether you are large or small. See, nothing is what it is. It's what you think of it. And if you're a small person with a small mind and a small, narrow, myopic perspective, and you've really never seen the world, and you have no idea that there are always options, and you're never stuck, and there is an abundance of every fucking thing you need and could conceive of possibly wanting, then small shit happens to you. Petty shit happens to you. If you're a big person, you're a big soul, big things happen to you. Big things are drawn to you. Big people come to you. Big events happen in your life. Obstacles will look large or small to you according to whether you are large or small. Believe in yourself and all that you are. I mean, sometimes it takes really looking at your heritage, knowing whether you can overcome things, looking at your past, look at times when it's been worse and how you handled it like a champ, right? You made it through. You've made it through some shit. We all have. And sometimes you have to like reach back and draw from that to remind yourself that you're really more dauntless than you thought you were. Know that there is something inside you that is always greater than any obstacle. Form a clear and definite. See, we got to get crystal clear, because most people don't know what the fuck they want. And that's why they don't get, that's why most people are living, they're not living up to their capabilities of what they are able to do, their abilities and their strength, because they have a real muddled, most people, this is most people have a muddled, foggy, hazy idea of, what they want. They want to be comfortable. Some of us, we want to be rich. Some of us, we are good with where we are. Everyone's different, but everyone kind of wants more for themselves. But the problem is we have not gotten clear. You have to have a clear and definite, fully formed in your mind idea regarding your convictions as to why you do as you do and to why you think as you think. Most people never really ask themselves why. Why do I believe what I believe about X, Y, and Z? Why do I believe what I believe about people who don't look like me? Why do I think what I think? Wisdom comes with the ability to be still. Just look around, just listen. Because really, like, no more is really needed. Being still, looking, listening, activates the non-conceptual intelligence within you. Everything in nature is silent. With the exception of, the whistling of the wind or the boom of a thunderstorm, right? You don't hear the sunrise or sunset. You don't hear the trees growing. You don't hear the grass growing. You don't hear a butterfly. But I challenge you, there is a subtle vibration and hum. Everything has a hum to it. But it's just below our waking ability to hear. But let stillness direct your words and your actions. Learn to become completely in charge of your energy. Learn to quiet your mind. Because within you there is a stillness and a sanctuary to which you can retreat at any time and get in alignment with your greatest self, your highest self. Did you know that most of your beliefs you've inherited? Just like you've inherited your eye color, the texture of your hair, the shape of your toenails, right? From the moment of conception, your ancestors are built right into your genes. And so, as we venture into the world, into the real world, it's about finding and connecting with the people who match your future, not your history. And see, most of us have it ass backwards, because we're keeping people around from our history that are keeping us at that level, because everybody thinks the same. And if Few people are changing the way they're thinking and getting outside that comfort zone and getting outside their little boxes they live in. You know, your Judeo-Christian box, or your Muslim, box, or your gender and sexuality box, or your education box, your title, what you do for a living, what community you live in, right? All these little boxes we create for ourselves to say, we fit in this box and you guys over there, you're in your box. And we live in these little boxes, and we prevent ourselves from stretching and growing and eclipsing those boxes. It's no accident that 1%, that very small select group of people, live in the lives that most people can only imagine. Meaningful, dauntless, unfuckwittable lives, living their dreams. Literally people who get away with murder. Literally people who, what some of us earn in a year, they earn it in a day or two. How is that? How do we have such a spectrum? Because people who are truly dauntless, whether that's financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, the dauntless are fearless. They know that a lot of this stuff is paper tigers. And that really, if you just leap, a lot of times the net will appear beneath you. A lot of times, if you just power through some shit, things get out the way. Everyone at one time or another must deal with buried emotions that are tied to unexamined beliefs, which can be blocking all kinds of blessings and blocking relationships from coming into our lives and blocking certain jobs and career opportunities and opportunities to get paid, opportunities to travel and grow, because we fail to do the work. And when you feel good about yourself, your outer world will mirror this state of mind. It's kind of like, as a woman, when you get your hair done, you just feel new, right? Guys, when you get an edge up, you get a fade, right? You get a haircut, you just feel good. When you feel good and you look good, like, it's all good. The universe reveals its secrets to those who dare to follow their hearts, who feel good. But how does one become dauntless? The truth, the real basic truth, is that everything that comes into our lives, we have attracted. We're literally magnetized to it. Your mind is an electronic switching station. Your mind. It controls the vibratory rate of this massive energy that we call our bodies. The human body, your body is just a mass of concentrated energy. But the beautiful thing is that we can control our vibration. That's that's the secret. That's the most beautiful shit about it, is that's the poetic justice, is that because you can control your vibration, thereby you can sort of control what you give off and what you draw in. If I put out enough bait, the right bait, I'm going to start catching fish. If I put out enough bird seed, I am going to attract more and more and more birds. If I put shit out, literally put manure, feces, sewage, and waste, and I just take it with me everywhere I go, drama, frustration, confusion, I am going to repel everything and everyone that's not on that shit. Do you follow me? Mind is the master power that molds and makes. Mind is the master power that molds and makes. It's not none of this other shit they're trying to sell you. You can tap in right where you are. You can tap in your car. You can tap in the shower. You can tap in and tune in and drop out in the comfort of your home. It's nothing like a natural high. Nothing synthetic can mirror a natural high when those endorphins start sparking. And what we don't understand is that thinking is a very, 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 very powerful form of energy. Thought waves are cosmic waves that penetrate all time and space. See, that's what they didn't teach you, because we're coming into a new era. Again, this is the information age. They didn't tell you that the age of Aquarius was going to be an age of the mind. And so we're just now learning about the plasticity, and the mind is plastic, and you can mold it to think certain ways that create certain new pathways, right? For example, when you eat a delicious piece of food, your brain starts to light up. It sends a signal to your brain of positive reinforcement. And in the neurochemical form, this is known as dopamine, right? Dopamine. And dopamine is a neurotransmitter responsible for motivation. So dopamine signals to your brain, you know what? I'm feeling this activity is good. Do more of it, right? Because it's highlighted that activity as beneficial to your survival. The body is always trying to do two things: keep you alive and pass on your genetic material. And dopamine helps you push through those long days and nights when you're working on something that offers really no short-term reward, right? Without dopamine, essentially, we would never do anything. But likewise, without dopamine, there would never be such things as addiction. Think about this. Every human being, I don't care if you're from Czechoslovakia, right, or Detroit, every human being over the age of 17 knows that smoking is toxic for you. We know, documented and proven facts, science, that this is a carcinogen, that nicotine is addictive, and that the chemicals that are put into this product will kill you and will cause you to develop some form of cancer down the line. Some sooner than others. Facts. But despite this, right, there are millions of smart adults, educated. We're not talking about people who can't read. It's written on the package. We're not talking about illiterate people. We're not talking about cave dwellers. We're not talking about Mohicans and Neanderthals. We're talking about educated people who get up every day and all over the world who smoke regardless of the consequences. Now again, you know that this is killing you. And yet you can't stop it. You're drawn to it. You cannot stop smoking. And it's because they have a dopamine problem, these people. They literally can't stop. If you are addicted to cigarettes or nicotine, literally understand that you've wired your brain to seek out the reward, which in this case is smoking. And so you've latched part of your motivation to buying and smoking cigarettes or vapes or hookahs, cigars, Black and Mild, right? When many smokers see a carton of cigarettes, they can see someone smoking on a movie. If they smell it, they get a whiff of it. Or even if you just think about it, they get a rush. Their mouth starts watering, right? They start salivating. They get a rush of dopamine. They get a rush of motivation. I gotta smoke. I'm craving that buzz, right? In non-smoker terms, that dopamine serotonin rush is what you feel right after you have an orgasm. 'Cause you know, I got to bring it home for some people. It's that little chuckle, those few seconds or moments of happiness and pure delight right after you have an orgasm, right after you climax. Those few seconds, that's dopamine and serotonin. All that shit's rushing and bathing your brain and bathing your bloodstream and rushing out through your lymph nodes and your lymphatic system and your endocrine system. And that is dopamine and serotonin just flooding your body. Dopamine, understand, is chemically similar to adrenaline. Your adrenals produce adrenaline. That's where it comes from. You never run out of adrenaline, and you never run out of dopamine. And if you add an ethyl group, ironically, you get adrenaline. If you add an ethyl group to dopamine, you will get adrenaline. They're in the same, kind of like they're in the same family. If you take it away, you get dopamine. So the entire tobacco industry is built around this huge reward system in the human brain. Isn't it fascinating that cancer patients, people who've been diagnosed and living with cancer, various forms of cancer, they have to walk into a pharmacy and walk past all the shit that just causes, they're selling you the cancer, and then selling you the pills to take and the medicine to take to live with the cancer. Cold world, right? But our world is filled with so much stimulation that, you know, sometimes you could spend your entire life just being titillated. There's porn, there's money, there's, you know, men and women, there's sex, there's drugs, there's alcohol, there's all types of shit. And you can be worked up over dopamine rushes and still accomplish nothing of real value. Literally wake up, eat, sleep, shit, do just enough to get by, right? Shooting blanks. Essentially. A whole lot of bark, no bite. Wheels spinning, going nowhere. Lights on, nobody home. What are some examples? What am I talking about? Social media. And I'm not talking to the people who, you know, you have a business to run or service or something that you do and it requires you to be on Facebook or Instagram or what have you for your marketing efforts or whatnot. I get it. I got it. But I'm talking about the average Joe that's just, you know, you work a regular job and you're on Facebook all day long, all night long, on various social media and games and things, right? On demand TV, foods high in sugar, processed salt, empty carbs, empty calories, drugs of all kinds, anything that taps the pleasure centers. So that's whether you smoke it, snort it, shoot it, gossip even. There are literally people, I literally know people who will call you like, girl, I got the tea. This tea is piping hot. And they are like getting moist from the idea of getting ready to just rake somebody over the coals and telling their business. Video games, gaming. Nothing coming out of it. I say all this to say all of these things work on the reward circuitry in the brain to elicit these good feelings. It feels good when somebody likes your picture. It feels good when somebody reaches out and strokes your ego. It releases dopamine. See, we're not ready to have this conversation. When you log on to social media, you get buzzed. You get a buzz by that one up, that follower, that like, that comment, that emoji. When you eat junk, because it's really not even food. It's food stuff. is produced in a factory full of artificial flavors and artificial colors and artificial man-made chemicals, it feels and tastes real good going down. And it's not doing shit to your body. You have no room for real food with actual nutrients because your body is full of shit, full of junk. When you play video games, you can spend hours chasing these imaginary rewards. Again, lights on, no one home. Nothing is really no money is being made, right? No goals are being achieved. Nothing of actual value that is going to benefit you and move your needle forward coming out of that. But by visualizing your goal already completed, whatever it is you want to do. Listen, we got to get dauntless moving into this new year. You got to already be on your goals. You got to already be on, what's going to be my game plan? What's going to be my game plan? Physically, what am I going to do to change this body? Mentally, what am I going to begin implementing? Because what has been happening has gotten you here today, but where you're trying to go, unless you want to stay where you are, turn it off, everybody out the pool, we done. You good. Post up. But if you're anything like me, you want to have a little bit more wisdom. You want to have a little bit more money. You want to have a little bit more strength. I want to be unfuckwittable. I want to be impossible to kill. I want to be unstoppable. When you visualize your goal already complete, you flip your mind onto the frequency that contains the way that will be attracted to you. And you don't know how it's going to be attracted to you because you have a very narrow, myopic, small view of the world. And I'm not saying that to down talk anybody. What I mean is we don't have enough wisdom. We can't see the whole chessboard. All we see is what's in front of us. All you can possibly know at this time is what you see on the news or what you read about, headlines. If you didn't have information coming to you via the television news, radio, or mobile, internet, you wouldn't know what the hell is going on in the world. If you've never been on an airplane or never been on a boat, a ship, you have no idea that there's a whole world on the other side of your world. It's daytime right now for you. It's nighttime somewhere else. It's nighttime right now for you. The sun is just rising somewhere. And I'm saying that to say there are all types of people and situations and things out there that lined up a certain way, one foot in front of the other, a certain way, is gonna just blow your mind and make some beautiful shit happen for you in your life. Keep the goal, keep the frequency, keep the energy constantly in front of you. Every thought has a frequency. You decide when you get up in the morning. You decide. And every hour of that day, moment to moment, you're deciding. What type of frequency are you giving off? Are you happy? Are you full of joy? Are you full of gratitude? Or are you on some bullshit? Are you negative? Are you gossiping? Are you in fear? Are you in depression or anger? The less you resist something, the less it will exist. The less you resist something, the less it will exist. What you resist sometimes persists, often. So stop giving energy and power and play to the shit you don't like about your life. Like, sure, you might be sick, you might be dealing with something, but you can begin to start doing things that move the needle closer to your healing and wholeness. You can start to educate yourself about herbs and holistic healing, and you can learn about various wellness tactics to begin to change how you show up when you wake up. Sure, you might be between a rock and a hard place. But you know what? You've probably been between a rock and a hard place before, haven't you? But you don't have to focus on what's not right. You can look at the problem and keep looking at the problem and keep looking at the problem. Or you could say, you know what? This is a problem and it's going to get worked out. For me, I've gotten to a point where I'm real strategic. I'll break out paper, spark up my laptop and start hammering. How do I fix this? How do I resolve my issue? I'm not just going to keep looking at the problem and crying about the problem and complaining about the problem and talking shit about the people who I believe have led to no, start working towards fixing it. That's how you get dauntless. You get real strategic in this motherfucker. Why not focus on what's hidden? Speak truth to power on the blessings and what's going right. What do you have to be grateful for? What do you have to be thankful for? You woke up. You healthy. You're not in jail. You're not in prison. You walking. Your legs work. You have oxygen in your lungs. You know what? You're blessed. You might not have all your ducks in a row, but guess what? You're alive. You're healthy. You probably have a roof over your head. You have clean running water. Thousands and thousands and millions of people would trade places with you. They would dream of the shit you on your worst day. There are people dreaming of that life. Tap in to what is healthy and abundant and growing and thriving. Surrender allows you to bring the desired manifestation into your awareness, whether it's a workshop, whether it's a book, whether it's a certain person who you need to meet, whether it's a seminar or a convention or a conference, or whether it's a place. You may need to move. It might be the locale, the neighborhood you're living in, the city or the state you live in that's holding you back. That's why I never understand people who live in a place and they'll cry about, it's not affordable and it's this and that and the people here, they're this and they're that on both sides, right? But you, the last time I checked, can leave. You're free to leave your country, to leave your city, to leave your state. You don't have to stay where you are not appreciated or where there's no longer any growth. Sometimes the shit you want to do, who you want to become, it's never going to happen because you are in the wrong zip code. You may be in the wrong relationship. You may be in the wrong school. You may be in the wrong line of work completely. Like you've been going about the shit completely wrong. And that's okay. Once you are aware in that awareness and you say, you know what? I got to change it up. It might be time to change careers. It might be time to go back to school. It may be time to say, you know what? I'm going to just try some new shit. Right? But the thoughts begin to get the wheels turning and get, you start thinking, okay, well, let me go out and find out more, get some more information because I can be winning on different platforms and different arenas and different industries, right? We've got to get around men and women of growth, folks. We have got to get around men and women of growth. We've got to learn to build our lives with growth sewn into the seams. Meaning, you have to kind of put earmarks on yourself. If you work in any organization on a leadership level, that there are sales goals and projections, and there are certain things that you want to hit, targets that you want to hit. And you have to, what I'm saying to you in order to become dauntless is you have to always be moving that needle. So you may say, for example, I would like to lose weight. Instead of saying, you know what, I want to lose 100 pounds. Say, you know what, in the next 12 weeks or the next 6 weeks, I'm just going to work on losing 3 pounds. And when you get to the end of those 6 weeks or 12 weeks, look at your progress. Did you hit your goal or not? If you didn't hit your goal, then you change your strategy. Okay, what did I fall off on doing? What did I do right? What did I not do right? Where's my weakness? And tighten up. If you do hit your goal, you say, okay, you know what? Now, in the next 6 to 12 weeks, I'm going to try to lose 7 pounds. But you're always extending your horizon. Always with growth built into the code, right? And growth, authentic growth, is never comfortable. Authentic growth is never comfortable. Growth is never comfortable. Faith and fear, both of them, demand you believe in something you cannot see. You choose. You can either have faith or you can have fear. But both of them depend on you believing in some shit that really is not even visible to you. Most people are fearful of the future. But in this moment is perfect. You're not in pain in this moment. You're not starving in this moment. You're not going without or lacking anything in this moment. In this moment, right here, this present moment is perfect. It's sublime. Or you're going to have faith that, it's going to get better, massively better, by leaps and bounds. 1,000 clients, right? 1,000 fans and supporters. How far a person can go, or how great the success or the level of being dauntless a person can have, depends on the thinking. Plain and simple. It's very, 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 very elementary. And we make shit way bigger than it needs to be. Way more. We complicate shit way deeper than it needs to be. The law of thinking. There's a law of thinking. And I always say Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. I mean, you should be hitting that book every year. Like literally. If it makes you, if it makes you feel wet and comfortable and good to read it every January to coincide with your vision board parties and your New Year's Eve resolutions and New Year's resolutions and shit, well then read it in January. If you like me, you start getting a little melancholic around your birthday, around your solar return, then read it around your birthday. But every year, certain books I read every year, and I get something different out of it every time. The law of thinking dictates that we can only attract what we think. Changing your conscious thought patterns. It can be, it can be saying positive affirmations. It can be reading out a mission statement or mantras to yourself over and over and over again. It can be listening to positive, inspirational music. It can be going to church, listening to positive, motivational, whatever works for you, right? But by changing your conscious waking thought patterns, which is your ruling state, you will allow yourself to effectively change the result to what you want. You'll sink into those ideas, will sink down into your subconscious world. And so how do you do that? You learn as much as you can. Learn as much as you can. Book knowledge, street knowledge. Get financial education. Learn the power of paying yourself first. Learn the power of the energy behind currency. That's why the more get, the more those who have more continue to get more. Those who have little, the little shit they have gets taken from them. The less you have, the harder life will be on you. The more you have, the easier life is on you. And that's just the way it is. Try new things. You always want to be creating new pathways, new neural network highways in your mind. Try new things. Because the minute you stop opening new doors and stop trying new things, that's when you start aging. That's when you start degenerating. That's when your thoughts begin to get hardened and calcified, and your ideas. That's when you start forming these off-base ass prejudices and off-base ass notions and ideas about people and them versus us and all this dumb shit. And you stay in this little box. Every time you learn something new, your brain creates new neural pathways. Whether it's learning how to play the guitar, learning how to read music, learning Sudoku, learning how to play chess, learning, just, you want to keep your mind always flexing. Meet lots of people, different types of people, and network. That's why school is beautiful, because school, when done right, introduces you to different types of people from different walks of life. People, especially when you get to university, college, and grad school level, you start to meet people from all over the world, and you start to meet people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, and you start to meet people. That's one of the beautiful things. When I went to an HBCU, and when you go to an HBCU, you realize, you know what? It's a lot of different kind of black people. But if you don't know that, you'll think, oh, all black people, nothing. All black people don't like soul food. All black people don't know how to dance, right? All black people don't have the same hair texture. As much as it looks like, we don't. We come in all a plethora, a spectrum of colors and shapes and sizes and dynamics and backgrounds. You got the white collar ones. You got the ones that are, natural and live close to the earth. All different types of people. But the beauty of that is you are learning new ways of life and new customs and new foods to try, new cuisine, new forms of art, new types of music, new culture, new strategies. Get outside of circles that look like you. We want to stay in these little boxes, and on the people who we deal with, they have to look like us. And ironically, the shit we need to be exposed to really like push you out of your comfort zone and really push you to that next level, we butt up against that. We resist that. Humans, people. We all do it. Rich, poor, black, white, liberal, conservative. But make small, continuous improvements. Always be making small, continuous improvements. Discover what you're good at, because the real power lies in your ability to look beyond the story. A lot of you haven't found your passion because you just have not done enough shit. And you got to come out of that hometown hero mindset and go find yourself. Let me tell you how most people quit, throw in the towel, just say, fuck this, just before breakthrough, right before something is about to turn around, just before everything is about to turn around. Most people, they give up. And 97% of people who quit too soon, I can guarantee you, they're employed by the 3% who never gave up. Facts. Expect an abundance. The stream of plenty always flows towards the men and women, the open, expectant mind, the people who, I'm expecting a miracle. Who got my money? I'm getting paid today. Like, you really have to wake up with that mentality. You have to really wake up with the mentality of, you know what? I'm going to be unfuckwittable today. Nothing is touching me today. For the average human mind, the average human being. This includes educated human beings. Again, these are not Neanderthals. Regular people like you and I. Life is an enigma. They don't understand why shit happening to them, how they don't understand trauma. They don't understand energy. They don't understand how they're drawn to themselves, what they're drawn to themselves. They don't understand why they're on the bottom or why they're getting beat down. A deep mystery, a complex and incomprehensible problem. We've been programmed to go by what we hear, see, smell, taste, or touch. That's the cynics. Well, if that, I don't believe in it because I don't believe in a sky daddy. But there has been little thought given to our higher faculties. And I'm telling you, that's where it's at. Perception, the will, intuition, memory, reason, imagination. Everything you want lives inside of your imagination. It came from your imagination. All the shit you want, it came from your imagination. And how you're going to get it is going to come from your imagination. Those are all our inner faculties. And that's where it all happens. This is where it all begins, inside. Understand, the general population doesn't know what's happening. And it doesn't even know that it doesn't know. So for example, Julian Assange, he said, Big Brother is home. Yeah, Big Brother is not out there. He is installed in the item you just dragged home from the Apple store. And so, like, we're constantly under surveillance. We are now officially living in the military state. I don't care what state you live in. You would be a fool to try and get away with crime these days. Because like state and local law enforcement agencies all across the United States and in many cases like the United Kingdom and some other countries, but they've been setting up all these like fake cell phone towers that are actually gathering mobile data, and they're not going to tell you about it. Research Stingray surveillance technology. That's the big secret. Stingray surveillance. Stingrays. They're these surveillance devices that can suck up sensitive personal info from your cell phones, your iPads, your phone calls. They're intersecting that. Your emails and your texts. Our most intimate moments. All of it. You don't have to do anything wrong to be a victim though. Stingrays they don't know how to just target one person. They go and vacuum up an entire neighborhood. And so they're going to get the private data of like up to 10,000 people at one time. Stingray surveillance technology. Educate yourself. It's COINTELPRO 3000. COINTELPRO. The next generation. And so I say that to say, watch your digital footprint. If you aren't careful, you become typecast by your digital footprint. So you have to be intentional about and purpose driven about what you put out there. In terms of the collective subconscious or the atmosphere, cyberspace is a concentrated energy field. Deepak Chopra, he said, the most creative act you will ever take is the act of creating yourself. Have you ever just stopped to think about how fascinating attraction is? How funny and ironic what we are drawn towards? And who we gravitate towards? You can't help who you're attracted to. Have you ever tried to not like somebody that you are feeling? You can't, it's beyond your control. Whenever you hear or read anything of a spiritual nature that moves you or touches your soul, you are not learning something. You are remembering what you have always known. It's like a gentle awakening. It's like a messenger. We think in secret, and it comes to pass. Our environment is but our looking glass. And so in order to become truly dauntless today, you've got to remove toxic entities from your life, whether it's a person, place, job, city, food, program you watch, something you listen into regularly. If it's a dull to negative vibration, keep it as far away from you as possible. This is because it's like mental quicksand, and it'll just keep drowning you and keep you stuck. One of the single most significant things I've learned about like running, for many of you know that I run. I just started running a couple years ago, about distance running. Why they always say, it's a marathon and not a sprint. It's the marathon. It's a marathon. Keep going. It teaches you to keep going. Don't worry about the motherfucking time. Don't worry about what you're thinking about, or just keep going. Just keep going and finish. Do you realize scientists tell us that thought can be compared with the speed of light? Your thoughts travel 186,000 miles per second. Your thoughts travel 930,000 times faster than the sound of your voice. Just with your thought, you can go back to your childhood, just with your thought. There is no other force or power in the universe yet known, uncovered yet, as great or as quick as that. And you control it. You literally have a handheld quantum computer with you at all times. Your mind is a battery force. It is a quantum mechanical antenna. And the thinker is like the computer processor, the CPU. And when it's finely tuned, it's going to move fast, right? And so similar to how exercise grows the brain and affects your mood, you can think, and what you think ultimately produces in your life. A chemical reaction can trigger your mood. The thoughts that you think and turn over to the emotional mind instantly control the vibratory rate of your body. So part and parcel of being dauntless is staying the course. Just finish. And basically, wait people out. A lot of times, show up and wait people out. That's half the battle. Watch people. Observe people. Watch yourself. It's how you think that is going to dictate what this body is going to do. What your body is going to do. Because we know that our actions produce our results, right? You go to that damn gym every day? Go to the gym every day. I challenge you. Go to the gym every day, every single day for 2 or 3 years straight. Get your diet on point and watch your body turn into a work of art, a masterpiece. You want to shit on somebody? Turn your body into a masterpiece. Take your mind there first and then take your body there. You get on the horn, you hammer your game plan, and you will experience 1,000 clients. Outwork, outlearn, and out-earn these motherfuckers. That's how you do it. That's how you get dauntless. Outwork them, outlearn them, and out-earn them. In that order. You want to change your results? Change your actions. But if you don't till the soil of your thought garden, the actions will never change. And the thoughts that you think repeatedly become fixed in your subconscious mind, your CPU, and thus what gets expressed on the monitor. There is but one power, rightly or wrongly used. Promise yourself that you will never, ever, ever, ever stop creating and lending yourself over to creative endeavors.